Hey guys, welcome back to Luke Explores. Today we're checking out something pretty cool, and that is the abandoned Daniels ghost town. Daniels was first populated in the 1880s, and then it closed in the late 1960s when there was about 90 families that were just told to leave. And then about 10 years later, I believe it was in 1972, Hurricane Agnes came through and it flooded the whole valley. We're at the Patapsco State Valley, or the park. And it flooded the whole valley, and as you can see, not really great on this side, but it does rise up quite a bit. And on the other side, it's also hard to see, but there's some train tracks over there and there's the river. So our best guess is the river flooded, and that just wiped everything out. So there are abandoned cars, there's an abandoned church, at least one, there might be two, and there's a cemetery for all we know. There used to be a lot more here. There was a school, there were shops, and this was an entire community. And you can kind of tell with how flat the land is in some parts that there used to be a lot more than there is now. But we have about a 1.5 mile walk right now until we really start getting to any of the first structures. And we don't know exactly what we're doing because we did a lot of research online, but no one can tell us exactly what we have to do. So we're kind of taking our best stab at it. So we're going to document along the way, and it should be a pretty walk, and we're excited to see what's going to be there. So let's go explore. We found our first sign of abandonment. It's just a sign, but it's kind of cool walking through here, even though we can't see anything yet, just to notice and really just remember that there was an entire community here. And it got completely washed out, so we don't know what we're going to stumble upon or when. But it's pretty cool to walk through history, which is now just a regular trail. See what we can find. It's about 20 minutes into the walk, and we found our first abandoned structure. Looks like it's a car of some sorts. And like I said in the intro, there's going to be a lot of these cars and just washed up vehicles on the side of the road. But it is pretty cool to find one so soon. We were expecting not to find anything until at least a little bit later in the walk. So just like that, we turned one corner, and we found a cool structure. Now, I'm not quite sure where the other structures are, including the cemetery, in relation to this, but this is definitely a pretty cool find. There's really not that much left here. The architecture's pretty cool. And you can see straight up. Alright, so we're going to keep going and see if we can find anything else. We've seen a couple videos of guys that stopped here when they were exploring, and we know that there's more stuff. We just don't know where. Now, if I turn the camera across the way, across the water, that's where the old mill ruins are, but from everything that we gathered, it doesn't really seem like there's actually anything left, so it's not even worth going across. There's a dam down here, which was part of the original design, but obviously it's not abandoned, it still works. So we're going to keep hitting the forgotten path here in hopes of finding some more stuff. Alright, so we just talked to this lady passing, who also might have been filming, and she said that she actually doesn't know where the rest of the stuff is. She said she's been here a couple times and hasn't found anything yet. Yeah, like 3 times or something. So we're gonna just try to take like a random right turn that we saw on the way here. I don't know if this is going to be the last clip for this video or not, because we haven't found anything else but the church. But we know there's more stuff here, but the area is just so spread out, and even the locals who have been here multiple times don't even seem to know where anything is. So we'll get back if we find anything else, or this might be the end of the journey right here. We'll wait and see. Alright, so we might have just found a trail up to the cemetery. There's Vicky up there. This is probably one of the last things we can actually check out. You know, like we said, it seems like people have mixed opinions on this place. Don't exactly know where everything is. So it's kind of a free-for-all. So we're going to trek up this trail, and then hopefully we can see something else, because all we found was that one church so far. Alright, so Vicky found the trail, and I'm going to go down there in a second. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but there's a washed up car down in there. Two?
Yeah, there's, come here.
Okay, and then let me just say, up here, you can't really see it yet, but that right there, what I'm focusing on, is the stone wall, which should lead to the cemetery. Where's the second one?
Right there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Get to focus. Alright, I'm gonna go check that out. Alright, so I'm not a car guy, so I can't tell you exactly what we're looking at. What I can tell you is that's a tire. And the other thing I can tell you is that this right here is the only thing keeping me from falling, and it's spiked. So that's a pretty cool find. Alright, so originally I thought this was a full car, but it's just the front of it with parts of the engine. There's some scraps back there behind that tree, but it's a pretty cool find. Here's the cemetery. The gravestones. I also noticed there's a lot of, I think these are called headstones. I could be incorrect. Joseph H. from 1904 to 1911. Oh, there's a 7-year-old baby. Alright, so that is going to conclude our trip to Daniel's abandoned ghost town. To be completely honest with you, I thought we were going to find a few more things than we actually did. We found a lot of flipped over cars, we found the church, at least one church, we found the cemetery, the dam was pretty cool, but apparently, like I said, the lady that we talked to said that there's other stuff on the other side. She made it sound like there wasn't much, maybe only a couple cars and, you know, some stone structures from when the dam was in operation, but we'll take what we can get. It was still a pretty fun time. It was a really pretty walk, and hopefully you guys enjoy. It'll be a bit of a shorter video, just because I don't want to bore you with all the walking, because that's what most of this was. But yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to Luke Explores, and look out for a lot more content coming your way. and we have 500 subscribers, which is in reach. Thank you to each and every one of you, including my friends and family, for supporting us so far. And the journey's not over. In fact, it's just starting. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you soon on the next episode.